How to speak with confidence in public. You know, it wasn't until I started hosting my women's movement, Lady Drinks, that I realized how many people have real challenges when it comes to speaking up and being their own advocates in the workplace. Public speaking, of course, is right up there with the fear of death, so it's not without warrant. But I wanted to share at least 4 tips today that you can use to be able to be speaking with more confidence in public. Number 1 is to do some foundational work. Really write down and journal what are your fears around public speaking. And in a separate column right next to it, by virtue of the fact that you aren't doing this public speaking, write down all the opportunities that you might be missing out on. Could it be that you don't get to get featured on a podcast or a panel? Is it that maybe you get passed out for a promotion at work? Is it maybe that your boss doesn't think that you have the capabilities of leading a team and doing it with aplomb? What are you passing up as a result of the fears? Make a list of your fears and in the corresponding column, write down what you are missing as a result. All right, that covers off on the foundational work. The second thing that is going to make you the most confident speaker ever is to use storytelling. If you can take any concept or take any kind of complicated thing and tell it inside of a story, you're never going to forget the details because there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. You're tying it to something personal, so it's not like you're pulling for data that's not necessarily already part of your DNA. And if you think back thousands and thousands of years, the very first way that we as human beings used to transmit information to each other was to sit around the campfire and tell stories. So think about a story. Your beginning should be your brand promise. What am I going to tell you? What are you going to learn in this talk? The middle should be a story. Make it a personal one. Make it about somebody else. Make it in the third person, about a story that you once heard. And at the end, your ending should be a takeaway. Not for you. It should be the takeaway that you leave with the audience. It's that little gift that you give them that they get to walk away and marinate on. I teach this in my public speaking masterclass. Tip number 3 is to record yourself. Honestly, this is going to be the best investment of your time. Spend 3 minutes a day, spend 1 minute a day just recording yourself in this modality. And then the important part is to go back and look at the recording. Write down what you think you're doing well. Write down what it is that you think you need to improve on. And this is only going to have a cumulative impact on the way that you're showing up in the world if you do it day after day after day. Just really, if this is a goal of yours to overcome your fear of public speaking and build some confidence in, this particular habit is probably going to be the best use of your time. So record yourself. Number 4 is to go to a book talk. Go to some small stakes event, raise your hand and ask a question. Sometimes that's so intimidating, right? You can go to a Russian film class at the local YWCA, or you can go to your local bookstore where somebody's doing a book reading. You'll feel such a sense of accomplishment because you got up and you asked a question, you introduced yourself, and you can just pat yourself on the back because it was a nice little victory that you did that. The final piece and the final tip that I'm going to offer you on how to become more confident in public speaking is to host a storytelling party. There's a game that I love. It's called Solversations, and the game is a series of cards that ask really thought-provoking questions, such as, what is something that you've always dreamed of, but you've never actually acted upon? You can ask these questions to each other, but it's really forcing you to speak up in front of a group of people and hopefully, potentially tell a story. Hey, I'd love for you to have some more tips tucked away in your back pocket and ready to deploy in real time. So if you go to joyadas.com, there is a download right when you get to the page of language that you can use to not only establish boundaries, but to break in conversations midway or to start a conversation. These sometimes having just these little pieces of language tucked away in your back pocket are just what you need to feel empowered. Hey, I'd love for you to DM me and write me. Let me know, like, what are your challenges that you're experiencing? I'm naturally curious. I want to know what you're dealing with. And if when you actually downloaded the toolkit, if it was helpful to you. I would love to hear from you. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below as well so you can get more videos like this coming straight to your account.